Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from free agent frenzy after the Titans made another huge splash in free agency by signing one of the biggest names out there right now in Calvin Ridley to a massive $92 million contract. We're going to talk about it next live here. So hopefully you guys give a call and hopefully you throw some comments in the comment section and get this thing rolling. Sammy, you know the deal. Start us up.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Talking Titans.
Ladies and gentlemen, 94 yards. Touchdown, Titans. He is the baddest man in the NFL, and he just took her to the house.
The sickest Tennessee Titans podcast.
Sick!
It's gonna be sick.
Vincent, the Titans made a splash today, bro. Not only with Calvin Ridley, there was another ones, but let's start with Calvin Ridley. Your instant reaction of when the Titans signed Calvin Ridley.
So I couldn't scream and yell because I was on the phone with my benefits department to change my life insurance beneficiary over to my wife. So I was doing that on the phone and I was on hold and I saw the news and I couldn't scream and yell. It's a recorded call because that would have been a whole other story I had to explain. Plus, might have been cashing in on our benefits a little early then. But I was obviously surprised yet thrilled at the same time. Did not think we were going to get him. I thought we had our hopes set on either T. Higgins or we were going to get someone in the draft in the first round. You had said earlier that someone tweeted there was a dark horse team in the AFC South when it came to Calvin Ridley. And it turned out to be us, and I couldn't be more than thrilled. Excuse me. I think the year off, he got himself right. He rebounded last year. He bet on himself with a 1-year deal. He had a solid year. I think he had a little over 1,000 or so yards and 6 touchdowns. I'm sure you can look that up real quick. But I think that this is going to work out great. I think he's going to be Will Levis's new best friend along with DeAndre Hopkins. And now it looks like we're cooking with some grease a little bit. And I thought the numbers were fair. I really did. I think that's what he was going to get. If you look at all the top receivers, what they're paid, he falls right on the end of the top 10, which I think is fair. He is going to turn 30 this year, but he had the year off. I think he has many good years left ahead, and I'm thrilled at it. And to me, it changes the direction of this team. I mean, we had made some other moves the last few days, but this to me was the biggest move we had made so far.
It's a staple. And just to touch on everything else, I have a funny story too. When we signed Calvin Ridley, I was in the backyard playing catch with the boys because I got their first T-ball practice on Saturday, so I got to field them ground balls. And I heard you guys texting away. I heard my phone beeping, so I said, "What the hell's going on?" I threw a ground ball to my one son. I looked in my pocket and I saw the Calvin Ridley. Next thing you know, I got a baseball in my stomach.
Nice.
I wasn't paying attention. I was more worried about the phone and the Calvin Ridley. So shame on me as being a bad dad for that 5 seconds of my life. But I had to enjoy. I had to enjoy that.
Second, man.
No, absolutely not. But going back to his contract, 4 years, $92 million, $50 million guaranteed. That's $23 million a year. Now you got the trolls online with the national media saying, "Oh my God, they let AJ Brown go for 4 years, $100 million." Guys, new GM, new head coach, new regime. They know they royally screwed up by letting A.J. Brown go. They had to make it up, okay? Now what we've been talking about now, that we needed a Calvin Ridley type player, a T. Higgins type player. So we have DeAndre Hopkins outside, Calvin Ridley outside. Now, where Treylon Burks was the outside at X, you move him to his natural position in the slot where he succeeded and went off in college. And Callie knows what he's doing here. He's putting the right guys in right situations to succeed. So when you're putting the Tyler Boyd style in Treylon Burks, we got 3 really good wide receivers. And I don't think we're done yet with that wide receiver room. So there's a lot to come with this. And this whole signing with Calvin Ridley with being the dark horse, let's not forget here, the offensive coordinator was in Jacksonville last year, Nick Foles. So he was a pass game coordinator over there as well. So he had a really good connection. What I've been reading so far, that he had a really good connection with Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley really liked him, and the Titans came in and swooped him. So I couldn't be happier right now that we have another weapon added to this offense for Will Levis.
Yeah, it seems like all of a sudden we went from, just having a bunch of holes all over the place to now we have a two-headed monster at running back. TNT, we could talk about that maybe a little later.
Credit all for you.
Cushenberry, one of the best centers and the best center in free agency, and now Calvin Ridley. We signed a swing lineman last night. Who knows how much? Whole play. Well, it seems like all of a sudden now, if you look at this roster on the offensive side, Will Levis, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, going to make a life a lot easier for Treylon Burks. Chig, who got, still has something to prove, but came on a little bit at the end of the year after.
Yeah, things can free up for him.
Yeah, solid rookie showing last year. Took really the better half of the year for him to get going. The last third of the year, I would say he played a little better. But, I mean, if we can get Joe Alt at 7, I'm to the point now if we need to – I'm sure we'll get to that point, but if we need to trade up to get him to assure us our, 10-year tackle that we, we're this close to having, I think this offense could look worlds better than it did last year. And it's only going to be Will Levis's, development as well.
So before I tap on that number 7 pick, I just want to read some stats to you since we brought up Calvin Ridley last year, 76 catches, 1,016 yards, 8 touchdowns. Okay. He has 5 seasons in the NFL, okay, because he had the one suspended year. That year when he had Calvin Johnson right next – I mean, not Calvin Johnson, I'm sorry, Julio Jones right next to him. In 2020, he had 90 receptions for 1,374 yards and 9 touchdowns, okay? When he has another guy who is a Hall of Famer, a bona fide, just like Julio Jones, and now DeAndre Hopkins, I can see those 1,200 yards.
Absolutely.
1,300 yards now.
My friends were messing with me because he was my guy this year in fantasy. I got him in all my leagues, and they were making fun of me saying, "Oh, he was your guy last year. I can't imagine what it's going to be like this year." Don't be surprised. It is a bold prediction: 15 and 15, 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns. If everyone stays healthy, I'm talking about a first-team All-Pro type talent. He has that ability. I think last year he was just scratching the surface and getting his legs back under him. After his year off, he still almost had 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns. To me, sky's the limit. I mean, if he stays healthy, knock on wood, this can be a slam dunk. And honestly, we needed to make a move like this. I think we need to make another one to keep up with moves left and right. Make a move to give our fan base the confidence that we can compete with the Texans and the Jags and even the Colts.
Yeah, seriously. So I want to go back on that Joel comment. I was going to save it for later. I tweeted out before the show. No, it's all good. I tweeted out before the show that I wanted to come out with a hot take, okay? Just think about this now for a second. We got our wide receiver. If we don't want to go wide receiver in the first round, we can go wide receiver in the second round. Or bring another veteran in, so be it. Okay, I'm kind of out on the wide receiver in the first round, but let's talk hypothetically here now. Okay, 7, Joe Alt's not there. Okay, you got these quarterback hungry teams in the Vikings and the Broncos that want to trade up, possibly the Raiders. Don't know. Okay, we move back a couple spots. We draft one of these, the Oregon State tackle. Okay, we draft one of the Penn State, the Penn State tackle who had an injury at what is it? The
combine?
Yeah, the combine. Okay, he had an injury at the combine, so it may slip a little bit. So if we fall back, acquire another pick or that 3rd round pick, that we don't have, I could see Rand doing that. And if we don't even go tackle there, okay, we go tackle in the 2nd round because it's very deep, and we have the best offensive line coach in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, the hottest take that you're going to hear right now is don't be surprised that the Titans trade back and draft Brock Bowers.
I was just going to say that. I wasn't going to say that. I wanted you to
do not be surprised that they don't trade back and get Brock Bowers because I can see this now adding another weapon to this offense to give to him. And we go with a free agent offensive tackle. And we go tackle in the 2nd round. That is a robust 1st round, 2nd round, and acquiring a 3rd round pick from Rand Carthon, in my opinion. I mean, I was thinking about this. I said, you know what? After this Ridley signing, this could really happen. Joel is a 10-year, like Sal said, a 10-year a cornerstone piece that we could have. But there's a lot of things that we can go with in this draft, and that's why I said I love Brock Bowers so much if we trade back for that.
And he
But
wants to be here, and he wants to be here. I wasn't going to cut you off because I wanted to see what name you were going to say, but when you said trade back, that is the first name that came to my mind as well. We'll see. I'd be all for it. I don't think it's going to be Neighbors or O'Dunes. I think that Treylon Burks now having Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins on the same offense as him will help him out exponentially.
Right in the slot.
Yeah, I don't see us really bringing another receiver in. Some would say Brock Bowers is basically a receiver, but if they traded back, acquired a third-round pick, and took him, I would be all for it. But in my humble opinion, if Joe Alt is there, and it looks like the Chargers could be thinking receiver now, considering they let go of Mike Williams, they lost Sharon Everett. How many pass catchers do they have? Eckler's gone. They're next to no weapons left there. A 33, 34-year-old Keenan Allen, who could still play, but you need someone else there as well. If they could take O'Dunes or Neighbors, and Alt is there and then we have to see what the Giants have to do, which they might be trading up for a quarterback or taking a quarterback at 6. If Alt is there at 7, to me, it's a no-brainer. Absolutely. You have Skoronski and Alt locking up the blind sign for Levis for the next decade plus, hopefully. You have your receivers. And I don't want to throw T. Higgins' name away because let's just say he has to play on that franchise tag. Next year, he's going to be a free agent, and DeAndre Hopkins will no longer be under contract. Yep. So I don't want to hold on to this T. Higgins thing because we could re-sign DeAndre for another year if he plays well. But I think right now we're set at the receiver position. Could take one in the second round, Xavier Leggett, Xavier Worthy, one of those guys. Who's the other receiver from Washington? Polk, yeah. And then, or your boy, Keon Coleman.
If he falls back that far, you got Troy Franklin. This class is loaded, man.
Yeah, but I think right now, unless Joe Alt isn't there, I could see them trading back. But if he's there, I think he's your guy at 7.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be hard. I don't want to be in that room because I know. Listen, if it's if people are trying to come up for quarterback, I'm okay moving back. That's fine with me. I trust everything that's going on so far. I trust Rand and everybody in that front office because they are trying to improve the offense, surround the young quarterback with as much talent as possible, and protect him, obviously, by signing a huge center to a massive deal. And I know a tackle's coming. But guys, if you want to
another offensive lineman off the board, Jonah Williams, 2 years, $30 million with the Cardinals. So that's the offensive lineman off the free agent market. So do we have they're throwing another graphic up. I don't know what that was.
We might have a caller. But guys, if you want to call in, it's 1-888-585-7425. Come talk with us about the free agency and what you guys like about the moves or don't. What's up, buddy? What's up, Cole? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
I'm doing good. I mean, I really don't have like a question or anything like that, just because, I mean, you guys have covered a good amount of it. But, I mean, in terms of scenarios, I mean, realistically, what do you really, really want in terms of what we do with the second pick? Now we would be more open to Snead at 2 or for the 38th pick, possibly extending him. I mean, what would be like your number one hypothetical in terms of what you want to do and what we should do?
In the draft, or what's left in free agency?
Nah, I think more in the draft in terms of what we do with pick 38. I mean, hypothetically, if you choose someone, or if you're willing to give it up for Snead, like all in at this point, since this shows us that we're trying to compete.
Immediately. Yeah, no, I mean, I think, it's a good problem to have because now that we got our Calvin Ridley, we don't have to worry about getting receiver in the first round. Hopefully we can still get all in the first round. And then with that second round pick, I mean, if you could flip it into Snead and give him, that monster deal, I'd be pretty much up to that as well. They might not think they need a receiver now. So although we talked about them taking one in the second round, if they can flip that into Snead and a long-term deal, the only thing is you somewhat handcuff yourself because then you're not picking again until the fourth round. But that's an aggressive move. And if you want to be aggressive, that's, I'm all for it. That's my personality as a person. I don't, and if they want to make that move, they can go for it. But I really want Joe Alt at 7. To me, he is a can't miss, bona fide first team All Pro, potential Hall of Famer, NFL in his bloodline. If he's there at 7, Teron Davenport has said this verbatim. They need to run to the podium to take him. And I think it's a big possibility considering the 3 quarterbacks, Marvin Harrison Jr., O'Dunes, Neighbors, McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy's getting a lot of hype now. I think it is very, very possible Joe Alt is there at 7. And if he's there, he's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at, even if we do trade back here, I'm looking at the draft. Just to go back on your number 38 pick, I don't see them trading that pick at all for Snead. There's been a lot of talks that a 3rd round pick is what they're asking for. We don't have that this year, so possibly a 2025 pick and a player or a 4th round pick. I don't see Rand giving that 2nd round pick away because, like Vinny just said, we're not going to have a day 2 pick, and I don't see that happening at all. But there's only one way they do that is if they trade back in the 1st round, they acquire another pick, whether that be a 2nd or a 3rd, one or the other, and then that's when I say, okay, yeah, they'll trade for Snead there. But looking at it, if we do trade back, you have Atlanta, Chicago, the Jets, who's a tackle need team, Minnesota, who desperately needs a quarterback, and you have Denver, who desperately needs a quarterback. So if we fall back to 11 and 12, possibly one of those tackles could still be there.
Ola.
Yeah. You got Ola, you got the Oregon State kid, and you got Joe Alt. So, I mean, falling back a couple spots may not be that bad because you have the Bowers and you have the Alt right there.
Like you said, if you trade back and get Bowers, you can get the Guyton in round 2, the tackle from
you got Patrick Paul from Houston too as well.
Yeah, you have Guyton from Oklahoma, Paul from Houston. I mean, like I said, it is a good problem to have, and they can have a lot of fun with this, but none of this would be possible if they didn't make the signing they did today. Yeah. And the Titans fans were waiting for the shoe to drop, and it dropped. So I don't know what would you like to do, Cole? If you're in that green room, what's your call?
Well, I mean, the one thing that just real quick off topic is I'm actually really excited for Bergs. I think he did so good in college in the slot. I think 17% success rate. He's just gonna benefit from this.
Yep.
I'm just so excited to see that. I mean, I've been excited since, and obviously he hasn't really been on the field, and when he has, he showed potential. I mean, but at least we're more the first year. But in terms of the 38 pick, realistically, I'm as much as we want Snead and we need Snead, I think that'd be great. But I really would like to just stay put. Get as much as we can. We filled a lot of holes that we have so far, and we still got some cap room to go. I mean, and these visits too. I really don't mind even, taking a wide receiver until the 3rd round. Really, 2nd round you can get a nice little corner if Snead's not the ideal trade scenario there. They stay put. I mean, you got Kool-Aid, you got Mitchell, I'm probably sure Arnold will be gone in the 1st round. You got Drain as well. I think a corner in the 2nd round would be pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like you said, there's a wealth of possibilities. We all just talked about 3 separate possibilities. But yeah, we'll see. Let us know where you're calling from, Cole. Where are you from, buddy?
Oh man, I'm from Texas. I'm way south. I don't know if y'all heard of South Padre Island.
I just wanted to see where our callers are calling from because we're up in New Jersey. So the fact that we have people calling in from other parts of the country means the world to us. So stay safe down there in Texas. Thanks for calling in tonight. We'll see what transpires, and don't hesitate to give us a call again on one of our other live shows.
Absolutely. Hold on.
Appreciate you, Cole.
What jersey we getting this year?
What do you say?
What do you say?
What jersey we getting this year though?
Jersey? Whew. I gotta rock with the Tajay Spears, I think. I think I'm gonna roll with Tajay Spears.
I want to make my first lineman purchase, and I want it to be Joe Alt. I've never purchased.
You gotta wait till April for that one, big boy.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to do anything prematurely. We don't know but the 0 on Ridley would be fresh. It
would be pretty nice. That would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm asking my wife to give me one. All right, y'all take care, guys. Y'all be careful.
Take care, Cole, man. Appreciate you. Thank you. Guys, if you want to be like Cole and join in the conversation, again, the number is 1-888-585-7425. Vin, I was just on Twitter while I was on the phone with Cole, and I saw that Mr. Sneed liked a comment from a Colts player. There's a lot of rumors now going around that the Colts jumped in on the Sneed thing. Kind of worrisome. I don't know if he's going to go there. I mean, players like players. Players played with players in college. He just liked one of the players' tweets. So I don't know what that says, about what's going on here.
Need a little bit, Indianapolis. I mean, aside from re-signing Pittman, I don't know what else they've done. They signed Joe Flacco. Shout out South Jersey, Audubon's finest right there. But they might be feeling the heat a little bit. They now have to cover the likes of DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Gabe Davis. Who's the other receiver Jacksonville has?
Christian Kirk.
That's what I was thinking of. Nico Collins. There's a lot of talent at the receiver position in the AFL now, so they might feel like they are pressed to make a move. And Jim Irsay is never one to be shy to make a splash, whether it works out or not. But listen, I could live with the fact. I could live without him at this point. The fact that we got Ridley, the fact that we still have pick 7 and pick 38, and there's still Armstead's out there, DJ Reader's out there. I mean, there's so many big names left out there that I feel as though we got another caller, Keith, on the line. Free call from Keith.
Connecticut, man.
What's up, Keith? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys? Big fan of your podcast, man.
Thank you.
Good, doing good. So I think this was a big splash move, man. I'm telling you, getting Ridley in here is huge. We got our number 1 receiver. Now we can, on the 7th overall pick, I think we could get Joe Olafshanu, and we're rolling, man. We got a 2nd-round receiver. And we're going, man. I'm psyched, dude. This is a huge signing, man. I love you guys, man.
Listen, I understand that the big splash is there with Calvin Ridley, but let's not forget, per Mike Herndon on Twitter, the Titans have $45 million left in cap space. It's a hell of a lot of money to make one more or possibly 2 more splashes. So, yes, this may be the splash, but another one may be coming, and that other one could be Sneed via trade. Or, we get a DJ Reader to free up Derrick Henry. I mean, not Derrick. Jesus, he's on my mind right now after I saw that video from the Titans. Free up Jeffrey Simmons, or maybe get another outside linebacker, Eric Armstead. One of those guys, because we desperately need another one now with the likes of Al-Shaair and Danico Autry leaving. So we definitely need somebody else. And let's not forget, the Titans still have what's his name, Justin Simmons.
Yes,
that they're interested in too. So he demands a lot of money too. So
is Jerome Baker still out there?
The linebacker
from Miami.
He's visiting with us, I think, tomorrow.
Okay, and we also have Chase Young visiting us as well.
Yes.
Keith, I'm sorry, buddy. Did you have a specific question for us, or you just wanted to tell us how hype you are? Because either way, it doesn't matter.
Listen, man, I just wanted to call in, man. I see the number on there. Love you guys, man. I'm rooting for you, but I think our best choice at 7 is to get that future left tackle.
Yeah,
we got Calvin Ridley. We got to get him. We can get a receiver in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
So you're out on the trade back, even if Joel is there. What if Joel is not there? You want to trade back for Brock Bowers, like I mentioned before on the show?
I don't know, man. I think I think we had to get Olafashano if he's there. I know that might be a reach at 7. If we could trade back, we could probably get him. But I think we got to go left tackle, guys. I mean, let's get real here.
I'm all about the left tackle, but like I said, that popped in my head now thinking about it. It depends on what they do. If they get a Tyron Smith or Devontae, what was it? Davion Smith, the other tackle, and they want to do that, I'm fine with trading back.
Yeah,
there's other tackles all over the place in that draft.
The possibilities.
And even Brock Bowers wouldn't be bad either, and get our left tackle in the 2nd. But I think we got to go left tackle first, man.
Yeah, I think if Alt is there, I think if Alt is there, you run to the podium and you take him. if they traded back, if someone wants to give us a nice haul where we could pick up a 3rd-round pick and still get someone like Bowers or Ola in a trade back, you pick up a 3rd. You could just do so much now that we have someone like Calvin Ridley on our team. But thanks for calling in, Keith. We're as excited as you are. Shout out Connecticut. We're from the Northeast as well. We know there's a different edge to us up in the Northeast. So we're fast.
Hey, guys, man. Love your podcast, man.
Appreciate you, Keith. Don't be afraid to call back when we're live. All right, so we had 2 callers. It's been great so far. Let's talk about some other moves besides the Calvin Ridley.
Let's rattle them all down. I have them in front of me, and then we'll take the 2 questions. So far, we have signed Calvin Ridley to 4 years, $92 million. Tony Pollard, 3 years, $24 million. Lloyd Cushenberry, 4 years, $50 million. Awuzie, 3 years, $36 million. Kenneth Murray, 2 years, $18 million. Other signings today, Nick Folk, our boy, he's back. Kickers
are people too.
They are people. We got to get that on a T-shirt. And then Mason Rudolph, I thought was an underrated good sign. 1 year, $3.5 million. Been in the league for some time now. Has
6 years.
Yeah, he has experience. He's won when he's given an opportunity to step in as a backup. I think he is a mature veteran who will be very influential when it comes to Will Levis's development, and I'm excited for it. So is there any other signing that we had that you wanted to bring up or talk about at all?
We just had returning signings. Obviously, Julius Chestnut as the RB3, and we have Jack Gibbons. We signed him back. Those are the 2 guys that and Nick Folk that were on the team already, so we retained them. But just to touch on Mason Rudolph, man, everybody was like kind of shitting on him today. That the Titans signed him. He's 8-4-1 as a starter. And when he came in last year, I believe he was 3-0 coming into that playoff game and lost. But he threw for 995 yards, and I think he had 5 touchdowns. So he can come in and step in and play a decent role in the system. God forbid something happens to Levis. It gives more trust in the system if they don't have that much trust in Malik Willis. And if we wanted to trade Malik Willis to give him a better opportunity in this league, we can get a draft pick for him later on in the summer. So who knows? We'll see what happens. And another thing, you asked about the Tony Pollard contract. The details came out on that.
It's a 2-year, $14.5 million deal, basically.
Dude, $8 million this year for him. That's a no-brainer, man. Yeah. That's a no-brainer. Awesome signing. The analytical part, the financial part that these guys are playing and signing these guys to contracts is just night and day compared to the John Robinson era in Tennessee. And you got to love how they're allocating money now, and they're paying the premium positions that we really need. So I've been really impressed thus far with free agency.
Let's throw our 2 questions on before we head out for the night. Do you think they settled on from Rel? Do you think they settled on Ridley because they couldn't get Higgins without giving up the 2nd-round pick? I would never say getting Calvin Ridley is settling, because before his suspension, he was looked at as a top 5 receiver in the league, with potential to be one of the best receivers in the league. He's still young. He had that year off. He rebounded nicely last year. I think maybe they valued Higgins maybe a little more because he's a bit younger. But maybe they didn't want to wait up on that, and they saw Ridley was still out there. They came in with an offer that they thought he would jump at, and they did. So I wouldn't say they panicked and offered him more money than they wanted to because Higgins wasn't working out. I think maybe they took a sit back and see approach with Calvin Ridley. After a few days, he was still out there. Diana Rossini just tweeted that Rand Carthon and his agent kept in touch the last few days. So I think he was always in our plans, and we didn't want to wait.
They worked together before, because Kevin Byard's his agent, and I think Jeffrey Simmons is his agent as well. I'm not sure.
Not entirely sure, but I wouldn't say that they panicked and made a move to settle for Calvin Ridley. Not at all.
Yeah, no, I'm all on board, especially stealing him from a division rival who
absolutely
replaced him with Gabe Davis.
So solid, but he is not worth the money that I think that he got.
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, we'll see. Next question. Thank you, Rel, though. from Stephen Gregory, wide receiver in the second round, still on the table. Absolutely. I mean, I think now it's really contingent on what we do with that pick in the first round, whether we take Joe Alt or we trade back. If we take Alt, receiver still out there in the second round, or cornerback, which is still a need, depending on what happens with Snead in free agency. But absolutely, I would definitely say that, receiver is still out there. There's a bunch of them out there. And, I don't think they could hope that Treylon Burks is really going to play to the level that they expect him to. It's to the point now where he needs competition, and bringing in another receiver, would only motivate him further, hopefully, because he's on the hot seat for sure. But I think absolutely receiver in the second round still on the table.
It could be linebacker, can be as well.
Yeah.
There's a guy, Patrick, I forgot his name. I mean, I should have done research on this. I mean, it's a live show. Usually I do a lot of research, but the guy that won the best linebacker award, I think he's out of NC State. Forgot his name. He could be available too in the second round if we want to go linebacker. But don't rule anything out in the second round. I don't know if wide receiver is going to be in play now that we have that. We may still sign another wide receiver in free agency. But if we do miss out on Snead, I believe Kendall Fuller is going to be the pick. He has ties to the DB coach, who is our DB coach currently on the Titans. So I would not be surprised at all. Peyton Wilson, there you go. Sammy, you're there. I was very close. I was very close with the name. I knew it, but he is a hell of a linebacker. I seen him because I'm an ACC guy with Florida State. So I seen him. He won it. He's got a knack for the ball, and he's a true baller. So I don't know. You got anything else, big guy?
No, I mean, I think receiver is definitely still in play. I don't think they have, all that much faith in Treylon Burks, although he will be playing more of his natural position. But we also have to think that is a risk. We don't know how he's going to play out. DeAndre Hopkins is in the last year of his deal. I think if they value someone at that pick 38, I think it's most definitely in the realm of possibility. But like you said, they could do a lot of different things now because you're not really pressed for one. You got Calvin Ridley, you got DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe you still believe in Treylon Burks. You're not pressed to take one in the second round. But if one's there that they like, I can most definitely see it. Why not?
Yeah, seriously. There's one last question, Chef Rand. Who do y'all want at right tackle? Right tackle is Texans just lost Sheldon Rankins. Beautiful. That's breaking news as we're on live right now to the Bengals. So that means DJ Reader is not going to be going there again. So it's either the Lions or the Titans, in my opinion. Hopefully he leaves that visit tomorrow, not a Lion, and comes to Tennessee Friday or Saturday, and Rand does not let him out of the building. That would be another signing I would love. But to go back on Chef Rand's comment, who do y'all want at right tackle? Trent Brown is still available. I don't know how much they want to still continue to address it in free agency. Maybe they want to still do it in the draft. Maybe Jalen Duncan is going to be the move to go to right tackle. I'm kind of out. I tweeted it before, kind of out on Dylan Raduns or Radins, whatever the hell you guys want to critique me on the name. That's because he's not on the field as much. So I'm kind of out on him. He could be a swing tackle. I want a big body at the cornerstones, right and left. I want an enormous body. So if Trent Brown can play right, Joe Alt can play left, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, they might bring someone in. They might let it be an in-house battle because that's Ray Dunes, I believe, natural position is right tackle. So maybe Callahan, Bill Callahan works wonders with him. But I don't know. There's so many different names out there in free agency, internally, maybe in the draft as well. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the comments, obviously that Radins is getting his attention right now with us. But before we go, I want to just say this comment. Everyone's shitting on Burnskill. He had Aaron Brewer next to him last year, and he had every single person possible at the right tackle position. There was no gelling. When he was in San Francisco, he was a solid right guard. And wherever he played on that line, you put him next to Cushenberry and then another tackle that we possibly get in the draft or another tackle in free agency, the line, you don't have to worry about the right tackle position, okay? Because he is a solid anchor on that line. Just look at the stats. The stats show it with him. So I have no problem leaving him there at right guard. So if we got no more comments, we got nothing more to discuss. hopefully we come off this show. I wanted to break some news one time live on a show with us. The Titans signed another splash of something, but I guess it's going to have to wait for another show. But then it's been a pleasure.
Always.
It's been a pleasure talking to Cole and everybody else and Keith on the phone comments. I love you guys, every single one of you guys that call in. You throw us comments, you retweet the videos, you like and share everything for us. We always appreciate our fans. Obviously, like Sal says, we're continuing to growing. We're always doing this. We're live. We love talking about the Titans, and we love bringing stuff to you and the content to you guys as well. So we appreciate you guys. Hopefully, when we come off this broadcast, something else pops, or maybe tomorrow something pops, and maybe we'll come live again tomorrow. So we'll see.
I think there's got to be an addition to the defensive line, whether it's Reeder, Armstead, Chase Young. We need help at that defensive line position all of a sudden. So hopefully we come back live with another big sign tomorrow or Friday or whenever. But I think that's definitely something we're going to address in the next few days, hopefully.
That's a wrap from us, baby. Ran and that front office, keep the moves coming, baby. Keep that kitchen hot. Keep giving us more. We got $45 million to spend. Keep it coming. Sammy and everybody tonight, we appreciate you. Look at that graphic, baby. Look at the graphic.
I think my table's rising subtly. You better get that.
Yes. The dynamic duo, keep it 100. Like Sal just tweeted before. Gotta love it with those two. Again, Sammy, everybody listening, we appreciate you guys. Sammy, you know the deal. Send me and the big boy out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Talking Titans on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.